All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome back to News Now from Fox. We're taking a live look at the White House in Washington, D.C. Looks like a beautiful Wednesday morning up there, but we're going to head back on out to North Texas, where Steve Fano, a meteorologist with the National Weather Service, is joining us live from Fort Worth. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. How are you doing?
Doing great, thank you.
So if you wouldn't mind, please explaining. I feel like Texans have been dealing with severe weather for almost a week now. How did this system come about? How did this all happen, essentially?
Sure. Yeah, actually, you're right. It has been about a week. About Tuesday of last week, we had a cold front come through and a series of upper level disturbances move across the region. And initially, we just had some freezing drizzle was the main precipitation type, but it did cause lots of problems as we saw with the multi-car wreck out here in Fort Worth. But really, things really started to get bad as we headed into the weekend. And basically Saturday the 13th, we had a pretty strong cold front move through, and it was followed by quite a bit of snow. And typically this time of year is our snowiest time of year, but we don't see amounts like we saw very often. And kind of snowfall amounts range anywhere from like 2 to 5 inches overall. And but the funny thing is usually it's gone after a couple of days, but we had just a surge of Arctic air come through after that snow, and that kept the snow on the ground. And then we had another disturbance come through, and that's what's currently going on. And we have ongoing freezing rain down in our central Texas counties and snow up here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
Yeah, so I lived in Texas for 5 years as a reporter, 3 different cities: Southeast Texas, Beaumont; West Texas, El Paso; and then South Texas, San Antonio. So when I saw this storm coming through, I knew the severity of it. I understood why so many Texans were rushing to grocery stores. In particular, HEB out there is the most major chain. But I'm still seeing pictures and videos from my friends that are out there in the Lone Star State, and this hasn't been seen in decades. I think I was hearing 1989. Is that right?
Yeah, it was in the 80s, and I can't recall the exact year, but in the 80s, and the last time we had significant temperatures like we're seeing. And I think that's what makes this event unique, is that the cold air has just been in place for a very long time. And we're seeing, although we did not see our coldest temperature ever recorded at DFW, we got fairly close. We had -2 yesterday, and -8 is the all-time record, and that was set back in 1899. So I think that's kind of what really made this kind of series of events stand out, but it's just how cold it's been.
Yeah, and the fact that it was a statewide event as well. I mean, I was in El Paso. It did snow when I lived there, not the amounts like we were talking about, but when you're looking at San Antonio, when you're looking at Southeast Texas, it's just, it's unseen. What are people? Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. No, I was just going to say, it really is. I mean, it's not that it's never happened, but it's fairly unprecedented. We're talking, these are, basically like, 50 to 100 year events.
So what's happening now, and what's going to continue to happen? When can Texans get back to what they're used to?
Yeah, and that's really the question on everybody's mind. And the good news is although we are going to continue to see the very cold temperatures, at least for the next couple of days, all the precipitation that we're currently getting should actually exit the state as we head into Thursday morning, which is great. But unfortunately, we're probably not going to see above freezing temperatures, at least in this area, until about Friday afternoon. But it does look like after we get through that, we really have quite a good warm up and much closer to normal conditions expected. And I will point out that in this area, normal high temperature for this time of year is 62 degrees. So seeing high temperatures in the teens is pretty impressive.
Is there anything else that you want to tell me that I may have not asked?
About the only thing I can tell you is that I think the reason that this event will stand out in people's minds is that there was numerous power outages, and many people have been without power for multiple days when we were seeing those negative temperatures. And so, swimming pools are having pipes burst, and people are having pipes burst in their house. And it's really been, like I said, I think this event will stick with people, not so much because of the snow, but because of the extreme cold temperatures.
All right, Steve Fano with the National Weather Service out of Fort Worth, Texas. Thank you so much for joining us here on News Now from Fox.
You're welcome.
All right, everyone, we're going to head on out to Houston. Let's listen in.
We're still